Trading got you feeling like this? Losing your fur and your crypto? Yeah, manual charting is a beast. Makes you want to smash stuff. But wait, what's this shiny new toy? Could it be? One tap, screenshot, iTrade, go. Magic box does the work. Boom, support, resistance, patterns. Even a Yeti gets it. Suddenly, green candles everywhere winning, like a boss Yeti. Gronk's making bank, snowballs stacking sats. The whole cave is rich.
Yes.
Stop raging, start trading smart. Download iTrade AI Trading Assistant. Yeti approved, not financial advice.
Golden hair blazing in the sun's fierce light. A figure stands tall in the dead of night. Shadows crawl, but he doesn't sway. A sentinel guarding the break of day. Words like fire burn through the air. A defender of dreams and the world's despair. Facing storms with an unyielding grin. The fight for truth always starts within. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight. The world quakes as the battle ignites. Through the smoke, he's a vision of might. Foes gather aiming from every side, but he moves with purpose and endless pride. Try to break him with venom and lies, but he soared like an eagle, piercing the skies. A symbol of hope when the night is long, a melody rising, a defiant song. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back. It is Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. Last night, the United States launched attacks with 30 Tomahawk missiles and at least 6 bunker buster bombs, 30,000-pound bombs against 3 Iranian nuclear sites, the principal sites for their nuclear weapons program. And President Trump has said now is the time for peace after the attack. The United States did not attack any Iranian infrastructure. The United States did not attack any civilian targets, any leadership, political or military, no bridges, no roads, no power grids, no oil or gas refining facilities. None of Iran's economy was attacked or its productive purposes, only its nuclear sites, because Iran refused to come to the negotiating table in a stunning blitz, an unbelievably well-orchestrated and well-handled operational security mission, as well as a deception mission. leading the rubes around the world who don't understand how things work by the nose, making them all watch B-2 stealth bombers flying, leaving their ability to be tracked. Stealth bombers. Remember, these are stealth bombers. You can't find them on radar. Yet people are tracking their movement to Guam and like, well, what's going on in Guam? They must be attacking from Guam. What's going on there? No. What a brilliant move. We're waiting for a briefing at the Pentagon from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as well as Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. We covered the briefing last night from President Trump. It was just 5 minutes long. I suspect this will be much longer, and you're very likely to see, photographs and maybe even video from the cameras on the aircraft. We shall see. But that's coming up here very shortly. Well, yeah, it does hurt my brain, Milk and Honey, saying they're trying to impeach President Trump for following the law. Once again, the president follows the law, just like he did by federalizing the National Guard in California, and the Democrats go to the press. They just embarrass themselves. They don't even care how stupid they look. Unconstitutional, of course it's constitutional. The Democrats didn't say a thing when Barack Hussein Obama used drones to murder American citizens in Yemen. Extrajudicial murder. Barack Obama, it should be on trial for murder. He murdered American citizens. Now, look, one was a terrorist because he was a naturalized American. We never should have naturalized him. And the other was his son, never charged or convicted with a crime, but murdered in a drone attack, targeting him and his father in Yemen. So there you go. Pasted them, every count where Obama and Clinton and Biden did the same thing. Exactly. They're just fools. They're absolute fools. And they embarrass themselves. It just shows how stupid Democrats are, and people like Thomas Matthey, they deserve no opportunity to be serving this country. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sitting in Congress and running around screaming unconstitutional. They'll say whatever they have to lie. Now, this briefing is supposed to start at 8 a.m. and it has not. Let me just double check and make sure this thing is correct. It is the Department of Defense feed. Okay. Let me go to see if one of the others has got it. There's nothing has started yet, so people are waiting. Yep, I'm not the only one. Okay. There's Fox. Let's see. They're in the room now. So I'm just waiting for the briefing to get started. They're on West Africa time, apparently, it looks like. Yep. We see flags of the Pentagon and no one there. The press is gathered. So this was a study attack, unbelievable performance. Last night, this is, by the way, folks, I happened to catch this 2 minutes after Trump posted. He posted on Truth Social. I caught it, and 2 minutes later, I was outside setting up my camera to do a short. I did a short, less than 3 minute video announcing what had happened, reading President Trump's statement. Within less than 5 minutes after he posted on Truth Social, I came back in, and Truth Social was down. I just happened to be on Truth Social looking. I don't go in there very often. Just happened to go there at the right time. President Trump says, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes were safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. This is not another military. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, that's his release. I do have the video, and I guess we'll play it while we wait for the Pentagon to get started. And as soon as I start this, watch, they'll show up. But in the meantime, let me get this here very quickly. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. We're ready. We're ready. Okay, we're ready. Why is it not on live? Okay, it's not on the Pentagon site live. What's going on? What the hell? Oh, there we go. They're a couple seconds behind. Sorry. Okay, so here we go.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Last night, on President Trump's orders, U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate, it was an incredible and overwhelming success. The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people.
That's what I said.
For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow
Obama.
to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. The operation President Trump planned was bold and it was brilliant, showing the world that American deterrence is back. When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close. Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it.
Yep.
This is not the previous administration.
No.
The President Trump said no nukes.
And he meant
He
it.
seeks peace, and Iran should take that path. He sent out a truth last night saying this: any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Signed, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Iran would be smart to heed those words.
It's a very hawkish
He said
statement
it
here.
before, and he means it. I want to give recognition to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Staff, General Eric Kurilla at CENTCOM, who did a phenomenal job, he and his staff. All of CENTCOM. Policy, across the board, this was a joint effort, and across the Pentagon effort. I want to recognize the pilots who flew those
And
bombers,
the crews.
who flew those fighters, who flew those refuelers.
Refuelers, yep.
Warriors. I want to recognize the sailors on those destroyers, in those subs, on those carriers. Warriors. All of them. I want to recognize our soldiers doing air defense, base defense, QRF, warriors. All of them. Every American involved in this operation performed flawlessly. And I want to give recognition to our allies in Israel as well. This is a plan that took months and weeks of positioning and preparation.
Yep.
So that we could be ready when the President of the United States called. It took a great deal of precision. It involved misdirection.
Yep.
And
Deception.
the highest of operational security.
Yep, that's what I said last
Our
night.
P-2s went in and out
No one knew it.
downtown Tehran, of these nuclear sites, in and out and back without the world knowing at all.
Yep, that's what I said.
In that way, it was historic. A strike that included the longest B-2 Spirit bomber mission since 2001 and the first operational employment of the MOP,
Yep.
a massive ordnance penetrator. The mission demonstrated to the world the level of joint and allied integration that speak to the strength of our alliance and our joint forces. As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war, but let me be clear.
We will not sit by and watch this.
Swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners,
And the world are threatened.
or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word. I want to give congratulations to our Commander-in-Chief. It was an honor to watch him lead last night and throughout, and to our great American warriors on this successful operation. God bless our troops. God bless America. And we give glory to God for his providence and continue to ask for his protection. I turn it over now to the chairman.
It was an unbelievable. Let's see. We'll probably get some images here now.
Secretary, thanks for recognizing all of our folks out there doing our nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This was a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan.
With good reason.
I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of the plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command Area of Responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and 5th generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats.
Yeah.
The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command.
Pay attention, Side Africana. He said what it was.
As the strike package approached Fordo and Natanz, the U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against 2 nuclear target areas. All 3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's about 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise. In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of
that
this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals.
Wow.
As the Secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only by those in the days following 9/11.
Yep.
Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice.
Yes, it would.
We will defend ourselves. The safety of our service members and civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the president clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the president and the secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the president, the secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this. As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed.
Wow.
I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
Brilliant briefing. Now we'll take questions.
Me? Yeah. So, is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing.
Of course.
But do you believe that some nuclear capability in Iran remains?
This mission was not and has not been about regime change.
Correct.
The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops.
Full stop.
And our ally Israel.
That's what it was. That's it.
Thanks for your question. I think BDA is still pending, and it would be way too early for me to comment on what may or may not still be there. But thanks for the question.
Green. No, behind you.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, can you tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just say, having the opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process. Wanted a negotiated outcome, gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling, which is why he gave them plenty of time to continue to come to the table and give up enrichment, give up the nuclear program. But there was I won't say the particular moment, there was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops. Yeah.
General, you say that General Kurilla increased force protection in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf, and those areas. were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming?
Oh, he's getting
And
old.
also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified? How long before
Cares about
the
Congress.
attacks took place?
Sir, to your first question, the risk has clearly been rising over the last few weeks in the region. Based on that, and not a particular awareness of this operation, we've made smart decisions to minimize the risk to U.S. forces in the
They
region.
were given no advance warning.
No, sir.
In congressional,
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
attack.
Yeah, War Powers Act.
They were immediately thereafter. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary. Two quick questions. Do you believe you completely destroyed Iranian nuclear program? And how about Iranian ballistic missiles? Your ally as Israel always saying that is biggest threat. And second question is very important.
Second question.
What will be your next step if Iran or militias under Iranian influence in the region attack U.S. interests
Going
or
Dracula.
allies in the region?
Going Dracula.
I'll chime in on this too, Mr. Chairman. The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect, which means especially in Fordo, which was the primary target here, we believe we achieved destruction of capabilities there. Ultimately, wherever it may be, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or bases in the Gulf, as the president said, it would be, as the chairman said, it would be a very bad idea for Iran or its proxies to attempt to attack American forces. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Regarding retaliations,
Good Lord.
Iran and North Korea are cooperating on nuclear and missile development. Do you think there is a possibility that Iran, North Korea, and the other forces, such as China, will join forces to retaliate against the United States?
Well, unfortunately, because of the policies under the previous administration, we drove those countries together.
Yep.
And ultimately, that creates a challenging environment. For this particular operation, the focus is on Iran and Iranian nuclear capabilities. That's our focus here, is to not just say that they can't have, but President Trump has said from over 20 years, frankly, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yep.
And ultimately, he decided this is the moment, given their stonewalling, when direct military action had to be taken to prevent that from happening. Yes.
Thank you very much. General Kane, I understand OPSEC, I respect OPSEC. Can you say at all what security procedures are being taken to protect U.S. troops in Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East? And Secretary Hegseth, as a global war on terrorism veteran, what do you say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction?
I say shut up, Tubby.
Thanks, sir, for the question. I won't comment on what force protection measures are being
Correct.
taken in the region. What
Stupid
I will
question.
say is we're being proactive and not reactive, and being very thoughtful about ensuring that we do all that we can to protect our forces out there.
And I would just say, as the president has directed and made clear, this is most certainly not open-ended. It doesn't mean it limits our ability to respond. We will respond if necessary. The most powerful military in the world is postured and prepared to defend our people. But what the president gave us, as I said, was a focused, powerful, and clear mission on the destruction of Iranian nuclear capabilities. Those were the targets. That's what was struck. That's what was overwhelming. That's what was overwhelming. That's what the Iranian regime needs to understand, as the president put out last night. He wants peace. There needs to be a negotiated settlement here. We ultimately demonstrated that Iran cannot have a nuclear capability. That is a very clear mission set on this operation.
They're stupid questions.
Yes. Hold on. Yes, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Question for the Secretary and the Chairman. How was this strike coordinated with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation?
Good questions, but none of your business.
In this operation?
Well, I would say certainly Israel had an incredible military success, especially at the beginning and ongoing, in degrading Iranian capabilities, in degrading Iranian launchers, MRBMs.
Air defense.
It's been incredible to watch what our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But as it pertains to this strike, this was U.S. operated and U.S. led.
We took advantage of some of the preparatory work that's been done over the past week and a half in terms of axis of approach. I won't get into the particulars, but as the Secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
We'll take a couple more. Yeah, right there.
Question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't want to speak to specific assets and force protection measures, but do you anticipate at least having to bring in any further assets from other theaters to aid in force protection over the coming days?
OPSEC, none of your business.
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and in working in collaboration with them as it pertains to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot of assets and people in those locations also where American troops are co-located. So that's a consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs, is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the President. I won't comment on any future things, but the American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world and try to modulate as needed our force structure in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Thank you. What communications are being sent to the Iranians right now, and is there any possibility of diplomacy now or in the coming days?
I think we sent our message last night.
I can only confirm that there are both public and private messages being directly delivered to the Iranians in multiple channels, giving them every opportunity to come to the table. They understand precisely what the American position is, precisely what steps they can take to allow for peace, and we hope they do so.
Yep.
Yes.
The president may not want an open-ended conflict. The Iranians may disagree. Are you prepared for a protracted war?
Well, anything can happen in conflict. We acknowledge that. But the scope of this was intentionally limited. That's the message that we're sending. With the capabilities of the American military nearly unlimited. So Iran, in that sense, has a choice. But we've made it very clear to them, this is nuclear sites, this is nuclear capabilities, this is the line that the president set, and we set that back. Now is the time to come forward for peace. But I think one of the takeaways from this as well is the unprecedented level of ongoing cooperation. I can't speak highly enough of the chairman and his staff and General Kurilla in CENTCOM, what they've done to look around the corner, to pre-position, to understand how an operation like this comes together. The scope and scale of what occurred last night would take the breath away of almost any American if you had an opportunity to watch it in real time. And I think Tehran is certainly calculating the reality that planes flew from the middle of America in Missouri overnight, completely undetected, over 3 of their most highly sensitive sites, and we were able to destroy nuclear capabilities. And our boys in those bombers are on their way home right now. We believe that'll have a clear psychological impact on how they view the future, and we certainly hope they take the path of negotiated peace. But I could not be more proud of how this building operated, of the precision, the sensitivity, and the professionalism of the troops involved in this effort. I will take one more. We'll take one more question. Yes, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Concerning the justification for these strikes, in March, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released their threat assessment, concluding, quote, Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Khomeini has not authorized the nuclear programs he suspended in 2003, unquote. So what new intelligence does the U.S. have since then?
This 15-year-old
that the Iranians
asking
have changed
nine
their
questions.
position on nuclear weapons? And does this new intelligence come from U.S. sources and methods?
None of your
or
freaking
are we
business.
getting this information from other countries?
Shut up, Opie.
Well,
Shut
I'll
up.
just simply say that the president's made it very clear. He's looked at all of this, all of the intelligence, all of the information, and come to the conclusion that the Iranian nuclear program is a threat.
He did a good
And
job
was
reading the
willing to
question that was
take,
handed to him.
This precision operation to neutralize that threat in order to advance American national interests, reduce the Iranian nuclear program, and obviously collective self-defense of ourselves and our allies. So he looked at all of it, understood the nature of the threat, and took bold action I think the American people would expect in a commander-in-chief.
It's not a
That's all
legit
we've got.
question.
Thank you
It's
very much.
classified. No one's going to answer that question. It's a dumbass question. And that's it.
Chairman, do you have any of the WC-135s up to check for radioactive?
Oh, sorry, sweetheart. It's over. That's it. That's it, folks. All right, I'll give you a summary of what was said there first. That question was stupid. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Bosoff. That was a stupid question. It's classified information. There's no way in God's green acre that question is going to be answered by anybody in that briefing. It's a stupid question. Also, he had to read his 2-paragraph long question that obviously somebody prepared for him, his crib notes there. He didn't really have a real question as a journalist. I'm sorry, you're not going to answer that question. That's classified information. What intelligence? None of your damn business what intelligence, genius. The reason this operation was successful is because for the first time in living memory, people kept their freaking cake holes shut. People didn't disclose classified information. People didn't run in front of podiums and go, oh, we've launched bombers from Missouri to attack Iran. For the first time in living memory, people did their job and were loyal to the United States, not to their egos and their self-aggrandizement and their appearances on MSNBC and Fox News. For once, people did their job. This, to me, is the most impressive part of this operation. Not the 15-hour flight, not the 75 precision-guided munitions, not the 7 B-2s that flew from Missouri and obliterated 3 nuclear sites. The most impressive part about this is people kept their cake holes shut. It's about damn time. I'm so sick of my soldiers, my Marines, my airmen's lives being put in jeopardy by self-aggrandizing, idiot, retarded, ambulance-chasing, shyster lawyers and used car salesmen sitting in Congress running their mouths. This was brilliant. This is brilliant. The UK is a joke. There is no UK, Tommy. That's right. We kept them out of it because they got big mouths too. We saw the UK in the most classified of programs during the war in Iraq. Their employees at GCHQ disclosed classified information and compromised billions of dollars of research and collection capability. You can't trust them. You can't trust the Germans. You can't trust the surrender monkeys in Paris. So we can't trust the Canadians. They've proven that they're leftist little toads too. So this... You can't even trust American politicians. This was done well. Yeah, the UK is over. Get over yourselves, folks. The UK will have to claw back and fight back and save themselves. When they arrest Tommy Robinson for showing a movie, that's not a real country. Not a real country. Anyway, so this was the most impressive part about this, if you weren't impressed. All right, let me run through it. So we've just listened to a press briefing from the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, a guy that I wasn't in favor of being the Secretary of Defense, so full disclosure there. I criticized him. Also from the Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, Raising Kane. I never criticized him. So U.S. forces throughout the Middle East remain on high alert at high force protection level. 125 U.S. aircraft were involved in this operation, including B-2 stealth, 4th and 5th generation U.S. fighter aircraft, air refuelers, and intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance aircraft. 75 precision-guided munitions were used, 7 B-2s flying from Missouri, 15 hours over Iran. No shots were detected, fired, no missiles, no anti-aircraft guns. Iran didn't even know we were in their airspace until we were gone. These attacks actually began at 1810 was the first strike. There were 2 GBU-57 MOPs dropped on Fort Al, obliterating it. Now, this is the first operational use of that. It wasn't the bunker buster, the Moab. It's the MOP. It's the first time they've ever been used operationally. And 2 were dropped there at 1810 local time, Eastern Standard Time. 30 minutes later, 14 more MOPs were dropped at 2 different nuclear sites. Meanwhile, Tomahawk missiles had been launched before our aircraft entered Iranian airspace, and those missiles struck after our aircraft had left, and they targeted Isfahan. 30 Tomahawk missiles. My goodness, that's a huge package. This is the largest B-2 stealth Spirit operation in history. All 3 sites are initially assessed as extremely severely damaged. There you go, folks. That is the situation today. Iran is on notice now. They're on notice. Sounds like some people, most likely on the left, are trying to plant the seed that Iran had no weapons. Yes, exactly what's coming there. We see the people in the intelligence community once again undermining the United States. Now, I can tell you, without revealing classified information, that I know analysts at several intelligence agencies who, contrary to what that little snot said, have predicted and analyzed and said over the past 20 years the status of Iran's nuclear program. The International Atomic Energy Agency also gave the status of enriched uranium. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no justification to enrich uranium for peaceful purposes. You do not enrich uranium for nuclear power plants. It's not necessary. This uranium enriched to this level, beyond 60%, is only for weapons grade to create a nuclear weapon. To sit here and listen to surrender monkeys and treasonous bastards in the intelligence community lie about Iran's capability, so Trump overrode them, and that's his prerogative as president. Listen to this nonsense, this utter nonsense. Now, will the African National Congress get the message? That's the question. Will the ANC get the message? I doubt that they will, ladies and gentlemen. I seriously doubt that the ANC will get the message. It will just be a matter of hours before Cyril Ramaphosa opens his mouth and condemns the attacks and then thereby signs the death notice for South Africa. Side with the mullahs this time. I dare ANC leadership be that stupid. I dare them to be that stupid. Wow. Chase Money Billionaire X Molefe says USA is putting its citizens in danger. No, you're wrong. U.S. citizens were already in danger. Iran has murdered thousands of Americans and our service members over the past 46 years. They declared war on us in 1979 and have been at war with us since 1979. And like little biatches, we sat back and took it for 46 years. No, the United States did not put its citizens in danger. Your understanding of geopolitics is primary school at best, my friend. We have been at war for 46 years in a war we have not acknowledged, but our opponent has been attacking us. They have funded the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and killed tens of thousands of people. This war has been going on since 1979, and it is finally time that some president had the tenacity and the audacity to do what needed to be done. Now, again, we have not attacked Iran. We have not attacked civilians. No innocents were attacked. The power grid was not touched. Their infrastructure for their bridges, their roads, their tunnels, not touched. Their cities were not touched. Their gas and oil refining facilities, the Straits of Hormuz, their shipping, their navy, their military was not touched. But be so bold as to attack America, and you watch, you will get obliterated. It's not a stupid question, Greta. The nuclear plants, no weapons had been assembled. There's no side effects for humans. Radiation is limited coming from those things. Made a deal to get oil from Russia, allegedly. I don't know about that. Who made a deal? Chat, you read in the media that the B-2s were on the way. Yes, because it was part of a deception operation. They flew aircraft from the same airbase in the opposite direction across the United States, across the Pacific to Guam. And they allowed their transponders to be on. They allowed FlightAware to track them. People knew that those planes were flying to Guam. And all these people, including Iranians, are looking at Guam on the wrong side of the world. When that was announced, it was put in my chat by a couple of my viewers. I said, wait a sec. Guam, no one's going to attack from Guam. The only thing that makes sense there is it's probably something to send a message to the Chinese. 1,300 people here, just 446 likes. Folks, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to do this. I was broadcasting until 1 o'clock in the morning last night, up at 6 o'clock already to do this. I'd appreciate a like. It's the least you can do. I'm not asking for money. So if you could hit the like button, I'd be grateful. Push that total up. It's very low for almost 1,500 people watching the program. So, yeah, so that's the bottom line with that. Sounds like, oh, it was very expensive, William Peters, very expensive operation. Those bombs are very expensive. Those Tomahawk missiles cost a couple $1 million a piece, and we fired 30 of them. Yep. Malema has a response. Where is it at? It doesn't help me, Keith Hawley. Tell me where it's at. Is it on X? How do I see his response? Is it on X or is it being reported in South Africa's lame media? So let me see. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is busy paying her bar tab, claiming that Trump is impeachable for following the War Powers Act. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I would suggest that you lay off of the donuts and, quit letting that sugar rush to your brain and actually read the War Powers Act and learn how the government of the United States works. You should have been forced to take a civics test before you could have been sworn in as a member of Congress because you're dumb as a box of rocks. So let's see, Julius Malema. Let's see what he's got to say. Got his account. Let's see if it's on Twitter. No, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. So what has Malema said? There's nothing on Malema's account. Yeah. Karen says, please don't attack me. I eat several channels and don't know where Colin got his info from. Why would I attack you, Karen? When have I ever attacked you? This morning, Colin said the enriched uranium was removed some time ago and the bunker is 600 meters under a mountain, so the strike's not effective. Interesting to hear opposing views. Well, okay, whoever said that, first off, the reason why the strike took place last night is because the Iranians had moved vehicles there to remove the enriched uranium out. You think the intelligence... See, this is what kills me about this. People don't understand how the world works. I've served the intelligence community. We knew what was going to those sites. We've been watching them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. We know exactly who is going in and out of those sites, what is coming in and out of those sites. This strike was prompted by that decision. And even if the enriched uranium was removed, what are they going to do with it now? The sites that are necessary to process it and put it into a weapon are obliterated. So what? That's not even germane. I mean, is that the point? Is that the point? Well, I guess the attack was unnecessary because they moved the enriched uranium. That doesn't even make sense. Whoever said that is wrong. And under a mountain, yeah, it was under a mountain. Good luck getting inside that facility now. So if the entrance to a facility 800 meters, I mean, look, it's like an umbrella corporation, Raccoon City. If the entrance is obliterated under 80 million tons of rubble, how exactly are you going to access that underground facility? I mean, what a stupid argument. Who made that argument? That's dumb. That's dumb. Oh my goodness. Seriously? Someone actually made that argument? Well, it's under 800 meters. So what? Wow. You're saying Brickmaker said U.S. killed Israel with this attack. Maybe you should check it out. And no, I don't. How has America? My question would be, whoever said that is, how has America killed Israel? How? What else we got here? Okay. Ronnie Adkins, Funker 530, whatever the heck that is. I do have a concern about domestic terror cells and their activation here at home, but not in the same way that some might. Some might what? Some might think? I don't know what you're saying there, Cyrus. I don't know who that is. And what bona fides do they have? Look, I'm not going to respond to people on just random YouTube people that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, have no bona fides and everything. That's the problem with social media. People with no experience, never been there, never done that, never served in combat, never had comrades die, never been subjected to the stress and horrors of combat, never served at the national level, making decisions about the future of the world, never been involved in any of these things, and they're going to be experts on X and on Facebook and on Twitter. It's I'm sorry, I can't buy it. That doesn't mean there isn't an odd individual out there that doesn't have experience that can make those analysis. There are those sort of people. There's a rare, small number of people who don't have to participate, who don't have to be there, who understand. They just get it and they can analyze effectively. But all this little parade of geniuses that are supposedly experts about this stuff, I'm not going to sit here and answer all of their comments because a lot of it's just stupid. Why would Hegseth share classified information on there? Exactly. Okay, I've caught up there. Let me get back down here and see what else has been said now. Sean says, agree with Trump's actions. Main difference this time around with social media. This is a different kind of war. If escalated, propaganda is easier for both sides, more like information wars. Glad to see your feed is up. It's been up for a few days, Jan. Good to see you back. Conspiracy theorists have been right about a lot. Yeah, I think you're right about that, Mr. Bosoff. You're correct about that. Malema threatened to march and have American embassy closed down, basically meaning that people here have his mindset. Who does he think? Well, I'll tell you who. I'll tell you what he needs to be careful of. Does Julius Malema remember the term rendition? Rendition? CIA snatching people or having services snatch people and rendition them back to the U.S. or to a third country. Malema better learn how to act like an adult or someone's probably going to snatch you off the street. Between 1940 and 1978, Iran instigated no wars. Then the Ayatollahs took over and fomented war through proxies all over the world. 100%. 100%. I'm not saying you mustn't attack me. Directed more at trolls. Well, Karen, I don't know who said it, but anyway, I'm not attacking you. People think U.S. intelligence got their info from... Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like the South Africans. You know, well, President Trump is misinformed about South Africa. No, he's not. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. I have received at least a dozen WhatsApp messages and people telling their private stories, very deeply personal stories, and several other emails just the past 4 days of white women in South Africa raped and gang raped on their farms, in their homes by black men because they were white. But Donald Trump is misinformed. He gets his intelligence from Elon Musk. What an unbelievably stupid, uninformed, and insulting position for any moron to state. You see, this is the problem. I have the receipts. I worked in the intelligence community. These people are dumb as a box of rocks. Oh, my goodness. And this is all fomented by the left telling lies in his first term. Trump is dismissive of his intelligence. He doesn't take his daily reports. Simply not true. Simply not true. But they said that, and they people are dumb enough to believe it. Just like, Trump is a rapist. Trump said, grab the women by the... He didn't say that. Trump never said that. Listen to the audio recording. It was illicitly recorded, illegitimately, without his permission, in an attempt to undermine him and then released. What Trump said is that women in Hollywood are so desperate for roles and attention that you could grab them by the genitalia and they would still come back looking for jobs, which is a true story. True story. He didn't say he grabs women that way. That's just stupid. Anyway, what else have I missed here? Colin DeBree gave a 35 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Let me turn the, I had to turn off the alerts while we were in the press conference. We didn't want to mess up there. There's the alert box. Okay, we're back. We're back. Okay. Rocks have more intelligence than AOC. You're right, Tony Nash. How's it going up there in the oil sands? South African living in Europe, do I need to be afraid of this escalation in Iran? Yeah, Brett, I would be concerned. I would stay away from public venues like theaters and stay away from shopping malls for the next few days. Iran has dozens of sleeper cells embedded in the United Kingdom, in France, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Belgium. And I don't know about Italy, but I know in those countries they have dozens of sleeper cells that are waiting to murder innocent civilians. And I would caution, Brett, wherever you're at in Europe, to stay away from those places. Now, if you're in the Western Hebrides in Scotland, you're probably safe, you know. But if you live in Ireland, I'd be very careful too. Ireland has been infiltrated and undermined and is a country that's been surrendered to illegal aliens. 25% of the population is now foreign-born, and the Irish are being treated like crap while these people are demanding that people conform to their genital slicing for prepubescent girls, their Sharia law demands, and other things. It's sick. It's twisted. Hey, Morning, what's up? And Chris Wanapool gave 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. Okay. We could send the bill for those bombs to the ANC. Diego Garcia would have been more likely than Guam. Nope, it wasn't Diego Garcia, Gary. And I said so last night when people came in my chat and said, no, these were from Diego Garcia. I said, nope, these came from Missouri. And my indication of that is the fact that the other aircraft left from Missouri. It was clearly deception, and that's what we've been told. And that's exactly what the situation is. These aircraft came from Missouri, not from Diego Garcia. Okay. You shared the video on Telegram group. Okay. Which Telegram group? I've got a couple Telegram groups. Friday, there were protests outside Lockheed in Fort Worth. Do you think they will amp up now? Oh, I'm sure that they will. These people are sick. These people they're like gays for Gaza. What a dumb concept, gays for Gaza. Really? What's Islam's view on homosexuality? It's not very good. Yeah, ANC is pro-Iran, pro-Palestine, pro-Russia, except there is no such place as Palestine, Damien. Yep. True, logically, it doesn't check out that they require enriched uranium for purposes other than weapons grade. Yeah, that's the only reason they need it. I read the media that the B-2s were on their way far before the bombing, and I thought, well, that's the B-2s you heard about, chats, were the ones going west to Guam. What are these warfighters? Aren't they what the? Peter Koenig, your vernacular is way behind the times. Warfighter is a term that we've used throughout my entire nearly 4-decade career in the U.S. military. Warfighters. Warfighters is a term that typically applies to the combat arms forces in the military. Yeah, warfighters. That's the term that's always been there. You may not be familiar with it because South Africa's military is a joke, and the only thing they fight is, HIV and pregnancy. But I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying that it's a term that's been around for decades. Yeah. So, yeah, when we talk about warfighters, we talk about shooters, movers, and communicators who are actually delivering munitions. Pig Daddy, RSA, hello to you. That mountain is now a lake. Where are you getting these Malema comments, folks? It's not on Twitter. So where are you getting Malema comments? Is he on the radio? I mean, I'm asking a question. I'm not being facetious here. There's nothing on Twitter from Julius Malema. Is it on the EFF website? Somebody please tell me where you're getting this. No one's telling me. I've asked 3 times now. 3 times. The last breaking news they have is on June 20th. Let me look. There's no latest. So I don't know where you guys are getting this stuff from Julius Malema. Okay. MTN does still have interest in Iran. Good luck with that, getting their billions out of there now. That just scares me to even think about women being raped like that. I sit up at night with anxiety because you never know. Jan, I didn't mean to frighten you, but it's a statement. I mean, people have shared with me their horrific stories. Yep. One person told me they couldn't even talk for 2 years after being raped. I don't know what to say other than my empathy. Your brother and sister are all in Italy. I'm sure they'll be fine in Italy. What does phase 2 look like, Chris? China welcomes this because U.S. made it please munitions. We got plenty of these. This is like 1945 when we had 2 nuclear bombs. Yeah, no, little boy and big boy. This is not the situation. These MOPs and MOABs, we have plenty of them in storage. Yep. And we don't need them for other attacks. Chickens for KFC. Jones says, America and Israel done us proud. By the way, thank you. Good afternoon. You're welcome. I didn't see Pearl of it, but you're welcome here, Pearl. The left referred to the same intelligence circle that said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. There, exactly. So this little twerp who's 15 years old, reading somebody's prepared question that was handed to him, doesn't even know what the question is, asked this question about the intelligence community, saying that there was no program. What a bunch of nonsense. This is the same people that missed 9/11. I was in the intelligence community. We were prevented from sharing information about terrorists coming to America with the FBI. Otherwise, we would have been sanctioned and suffered punishment for that. Yeah, the same people who kept us from doing that. Yeah, so, they've been so right on so many things, correct? Not. Yeah, he doesn't need social media for information. Europe is riddled with sleeper cells. Western leaders are asleep for decades. Correct, Crocotopia. You are spot on with that one. Spot on. Your stream went down. No, we're still here, Caustic Chameleon, but I see you're chatting. You must be back now. That's your feed. The world's sheriff is back, taking action not only for self-interest, but for the good of humanity. Extreme joke, the army here, dilapidated. Well, Cockprod 24 isn't saying much. They've had a couple stories. It's not even the lead story. I mean, that shows you how disconnected South African media is. This is the biggest story on the planet, and it's not even above the fold. Let's go to Cockprod and take a look at it right now. I will show you, unless they've changed it in the last, since I checked it. Oh, there it is. Now they've done it. Okay. Yeah, but it wasn't above the fold. Now it's above the fold. So they've just put a story finally above the fold. But we're talking about an attack that occurred. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Sorry. We're talking about an attack that occurred, gosh, 13 hours ago, 14 hours ago. And they're just now putting a story up above the fold. They put stories up, but it wasn't above the fold. So this is Cockprot24. They've just joined the world in reporting the biggest news story on the planet that occurred last night. They've just now put it up. Where the heck is my damn screen at? Sorry, guys. Looking for this. Okay, there we go. God bless it. There we go. All right, so finally, U.S. airstrikes cross Big Red Line. Iran foreign minister heads to Russia. Okay, so an antagonistic approach comes from News 24. Yeah, and they get the story from AFP, the French press agency. Iran accused the of Israel of crossing a red line by attacking its nuclear facilities, labeling strikes a grave crime and a threat to peace. Yeah, okay. They crossed the very big red line by attacking Iran's nuclear facilities. But let's go back to Cockprot. Are there any stories here about President Trump? Here we go. Okay, there you go. There's Malema. That's I'm asking you guys where it's at. I had to go find it on my own. Thanks a lot for nothing, guys. Not telling me anything. Yeah, so U.S. says Iran nuclear program devastated. Yeah, so this is way down here. Let's see. Let Israel have a taste of devastation as perpetrating Gaza. Well, that's not about Iran. That's probably something he said previously. Funeral service, those who died in a bus accident. So he chooses that to talk about foreign policy. We stand in full solidarity with Iran, a country under siege from Western imperialism for choosing independence. Oh, my God. Moron doesn't even begin to describe Julius Malema. It doesn't even begin to decide. Thank you. Oh, Sue Marie said it was at a funeral. Okay, got it. And okay, and you said News 24. Thank you. Thank you. There it is, finally. Now you guys are telling me. Truck 24. Thank you. I found it. Okay. But does he vow to shut down the embassy? I don't see anything here. Let me see. Well, that was the question. He's shutting down the embassy. Where's that at? There's nothing here about that. It must be somewhere else he said it. On News 24, Malema. See, this is the problem with Cockprot 24. I don't get the same thing you get. I'm a subscriber, a paid subscriber, and I don't even get these stories. So I'll do that. Let me search for that and see if that shows up. Malema. Nope. Doesn't show up. No, that doesn't show up. I don't even get that story. See that? Talk about, censorship, and I'm paying for it. I should see every article on there. If someone who's a moderator has a link to that in South Africa, send me the link to that story. Scott Philbin, thank you for subscribing. It's a horrific crime. Several family and friends have been raped and date raped. I still have emotions boarding. Okay, Caustic Chameleon, I appreciate what you're saying, and date rape is a horrible thing too. But date rape is somebody went on a date, so they went with the person. I'm not excusing it. What I'm saying is we're talking about white women intentionally being targeted and raped and gang raped by black men as a means of domestic terror. And the number of women that's happened to is just shocking. Trump is continually accused of a lot of things, but thank God being weak is never one of them, says Sonia and Wayne. Yep. Yeah, I searched for that, expat Joubert. It's not there. Yeah, why didn't he wait till Lady Pondor was there? Dark Sky just subscribed. Thank you for that. Malema's comments are relevant. Yeah, they are. He's just a clown. But I would like to make a video on it, but I can't find the story. What did Cyrus say? He's arguing now with Tony Naish. I don't see it. How do people make these comments and then I don't see them here? What is going on between Cyrus and Tony Naish? What amazing about Europe is that they have footage of thousands of illegal military-aged men entering daily, but nothing's being done to stop. Exactly. Saw a YouTube video of Malema wanting to march U.S. Embassy and close it. That's old. He said that before. You can't believe Twatterbox convinced Trump to bomb Iran. Obviously, Wild Mountains, you're being facetious. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yikes. Yes, in the YouTube, Julius Malema vows to shut down. Please do not type in capital letters. Correct. It means you're screaming at the top of your voice. Oh, on TikTok. Well, I'm not on TikTok right now. Okay, I still don't see what Cyrus said. Highly decorated soldier was killed leading the Entebbe raid, a hostage rescue in 1976. People stand back questioning Israel's actions. That would be Bibi Netanyahu's brother, who was killed in that raid. You ever want to know what's happening inside Iran? Listening to an Iranian that fled in the 70s, Tusi's parents. Well, Tusi didn't flee in the 70s. His parents did. Iranian foreign minister is meeting Putin tomorrow. Putin knows with the NATO meeting, Europe is going to increase their defense budgets, far outweighing Russia. Anonymous Recall says it's a spiritual war. South African VPN won't make a difference, Crescent Glow. I have a subscription. They have my credentials. They show me what they want to show me. I've learned to listen and observe people who reveal their true nature. Same applies to news, social media, YouTube channels. It helps thin out. Exactly. Thank you, Karen. It's spot on. I agree with that. Just like people who attack me on Facebook private communities and lie about the things I say. And that's a bad move, because you may get an echo chamber in your little group there of 7,000 people on Facebook, but people who pay attention know the truth and get the truth. My point is the feeling of revenge. No, I got you, Caustic Command. I'm 100% with you. There's a super chat that came in. Thank you for that. Wow, that's a long username. I'll get to it in a moment. Anyway, okay, so whatever the beef was between Tony and Cyrus is sorted out. I'm glad you guys sorted it out now. Offensa Matibe, did you see Zimbabwe's economy is growing better than that of South Africa? I question whether that's real or not, but yes, I have seen those reports. Politicians are already calling out the strikes. Maybe Squirrel can send South African Air Force to help. Yes, it's one Gripen pilot. A lard Duskoy for quality, 40 Rand. Thank you for that. Nicola's laughing about something that Hendo said. Next thing, folks, think Twitter boss is a CIA agent according to Cockprot. Yeah, he probably is. Woman attacker. Who's a woman attacker? South Africans will send their rickshaws. My goodness. To be honest, I don't watch or listen to news anymore. I just watch and listen to your channel, Chris. My opinion is the only place I get the truth and unbiased news. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, that is unusual name, Chris Ehlers. I saw that. I just sent you a live streaming link to YouTube threatening to attack. Well, there was a live stream of Ayatollah Khomeini, but it was playing live and it had been on for 8 hours, and it was dated June 18th. So let's see if that's what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, that's from June 18th, I think. Let me just look and see if that's the one. Oh, no, this is CNN. Okay. Well, it's not CNN. It's a fake CNN. This is from June 18th, I think. Yeah, this is from June 18th. This isn't live. Maybe it's from now.
و البته آمریکایی‌ها اونهایی که با سیاست‌های این منطقه آشنا هستن میدانند که ورود آمریکا در این قضیه
Oh, this is live. Okay.
100% به ضرر اوست. اونچه که او در این زمینه ضربه خواهد خورد به مراتب بیشتر است از اونچه که ایران ممکنه صدمه بخوره. صدمه آمریکا اگر ورود در این میدان بشه، ورود نظامی در این میدان بکنه.
See, that's from June 18th. That isn't now. That's not live.
من به ملت عزیزمون عرض میکنم همین آیه شریفه رو همیشه در نظر داشته باشید. زندگی به حمدالله به طور عادی در جریانه. نگذارید دشمن احساس کنه که شما در مقابل او میترسید، احساس ضعف میکنید.
That's not live. No, that's not live. That's the same crap that was Yeah, started streaming 7 hours ago. That's not live, folks. That's a bogus feed, and that says if the U.S. enters the war. That's from before. Yeah, no, this is just like Saddam Hussein, videos of Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. No, it wasn't him. It wasn't current. It's old. Yep. A mad mullah. Yep. Chris and Charlie, the truth always comes out. Who's Charlie? Charlie who, Bernie? Yeah, it's clickbait to get views, Joey. That's what it is. That's not live. Yep. Well, it's a live stream looping the same pathetic stuff he's been saying for ages. So why the regime always say I, people? Yeah, it's these mullahs look all the same. Cloning must be well advanced in Iran. He's 83. Yep. Right. Okay, so let me give a wrap up, a rundown once again of what was said in the press conference. At the press conference, 7 B-2 stealth bombers and refueling KC-135 tankers took off from Missouri and flew east in stealth mode for the, I'm not sure where the KC-135s, how that went about, but the stealth bombers were not detected on radar. They're imperceptible. In the meantime, stealth bombers flew from the same base and went west across the continental United States to Guam, in which they left their tracking stuff on their transponder so people could follow them. And the world quickly turned its attention to the aircraft flying to Guam and said, oh, are these headed to Iran? Of course not. It's too far. And so big distraction, battlefield deception, brilliant stuff. And also what I said at the time is it's very likely a message to China. Very likely a message to China as we put these B-2s in Guam for positioning. They can strike anywhere from there in Asia. So that happened. And these 7 B-2 stealth bombers, the largest ever attack by the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, largest B-2 operation in history, they flew. And en route, they were refueled multiple times. And they attacked 3 Iranian nuclear sites, all initially battle damage assessments, extremely serious damage to them. We'll see. 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired from subs in the Arabian Gulf at Isfahan. And 125 U.S. aircraft were involved in the operation, including the B-2 stealths, 4th and 5th generation strike fighters, and air mobility, air tankers, and intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance aircraft. Aaron Mostart, 40 Rand, thank you for that. Reconnaissance, surveillance aircraft, ISR, 125 U.S. aircraft involved in this. 75 precision-guided munitions were used, and no shots were detected, fired either missiles or AAA at any U.S. aircraft, either en route or leaving Iranian airspace. The first event inside Iranian airspace was at 2:10 in the morning or 18:10 here in the United States. 2 GBU 57 MOPS. These were the first operational use of that bomb. They didn't use the Moab, the mother of all bombs, but they used the MOPS. And those 2 were dropped in the Fordow complex at 2:10 a.m. Iranian time, 6:10 Eastern Standard Time here in the evening. A total of 14 MOPS were used in the first operational use of these bunker buster bombs at 2 different sites. Those were dropped between 1840 and 1905 in a 25-minute window. And there you have it. Those are the facts about what happened in this attack that occurred last night or early this morning, depending on how you look at it. It's 18 hours difference now, so yeah. The IAEA is scheduled to convene a meeting tomorrow. Well, good for them. Sorry, I came in late. Does this mean USA declared war in Iran? No, we haven't declared war. Nope, we haven't declared war. Nope. And it's a limited operation. The United States had a singular objective to destroy Iran's ability to build and field a nuclear weapon, and that was accomplished. Interesting comments earlier. Someone said that another YouTube commenter said that all the fissionable material had been removed, and that isn't true. And even if it were true, ladies and gentlemen, so what? Without the facilities to do something with it or the means to use it, it's useless to them at the moment. But it didn't happen. The reason this strike took place when it did is because we had indications and warnings that they were going to remove that stuff. We watched those sites 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the past 30 years. So, yeah, it's not a declaration of war. Nope. The United States has left open the possibility for peace. Trump said so in his Truth Social. The thing for me, folks, is I just happened to catch this. Thank for goodness for social media. I happened to catch the Truth Social post. He posted at 7:46. At 7:48 in the evening, I saw this post 2 minutes after he posted it. I'm like, whoa, it's happened. So I rushed outside with my phone. I printed out this statement from Trump. I read it on air and gave an initial analysis of that last night. And then I did a live stream for about 7 minutes to update people a short while after that. And after that was done, then I went live last night for my evening broadcast. But President Trump last night at 7:46 posted the following Truth Social. By the way, Truth Social either was inundated with traffic and went down, or it was attacked in a denial of service attack, because I couldn't get into Truth Social after I came back with the live stream, because it just either was too much traffic or it was attacked. I'm not sure which. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So President Trump was left open window, but the mullahs don't want peace. And let's get to the news stories this morning, folks. Let's get to the news stories here. All right, so we've dropped a few people. They all disappeared. I guess they just wanted to hear one thing, and then they got what they wanted and they left. And that's fine. People don't have to be here. So major U.S. cities are bracing for Iranian sleeper cells. Yep, on alert now. It's not just our troops abroad, but major U.S. cities are bracing for Iranian retaliation through sleeper cells. Former New York Police Department inspector explains enhanced security measures, including special patrol cars, are at vulnerable locations. Authorities in New York and Washington are high alert after U.S. airstrikes on 3 nuclear sites. We're tracking the situation unfolding in Iran. Out of an abundance of caution, we're deploying additional resources to religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites across New York City and coordinating with federal partners. We'll continue to monitor for any potential impact in New York City. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said that the city is closely monitoring any threats to public safety. There are no credible threats at this time, and out of abundance of caution, LAPD is stepping up patrols near places of worship, community gathering spaces, and other sensitive sites. 3 sites hit by the U.S. represent the core of the Iran nuclear program, and there they are: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Natanz, which was already severely damaged by Israel, is Iran's oldest and largest site for producing enriched uranium, a key ingredient for nuclear weapon. Fordow was producing most of the highly enriched near-weapons-grade uranium Iran has churned out since 2021. It had been hit by Israel, yet there were real doubts about Israel's ability to severely damage the site because of its location deep inside a mountainside. Those 2 make up almost all the enrichment that Iran has accomplished. Isfahan houses critical components for Iran's nuclear program. Israel had already destroyed the conversion facility, which turns uranium into the form that can be fed into centrifuges for enrichment. So, UN Atomic Energy Agency this week said that it was not sure if Iran had already dispersed that material away from Isfahan. That's because they don't have our intelligence capabilities. There's a satellite image of the Natanz facility after an Israeli strike. Iran signals little interest in diplomacy after U.S. strikes nuclear sites. Well, it said no interest in diplomacy before we struck, so why would they change their tune? Why would they change their tune? Satellite images show activity in Iran's Fordow nuclear facility before U.S. strikes. Maxstar Technology, U.S. defense contractor, released satellite imagery on Sunday showing activity at the nuclear facility in Fordow. Images of the plant collected on Thursday and Friday depict truck and vehicle activity near the entrance to the underground site. Yep. President's claim about the result of the operation could not be independently confirmed. Yeah, but so here you go. Look at all the trucks. They're hard to see there, but I'm going to try to zoom up on that. See all these trucks trying to collect. It's amazing we get this from commercial sites. So there you go. There is the enrichment facility. Okay, where'd the picture go? There you go. See all the trucks lined up there? Uh-huh. Yep. Look at that. This is why Trump had to strike. This is why Trump had to strike when he did, because they were going to take the material away. So whoever said that on YouTube, saying that they had already moved the material out, well, then why are all these trucks showing up in the last 24 hours? Why are they showing up? Trump gave the final go-ahead hours before the bombs fell. They were already en route. He had vowed to give Iran up to 2 weeks, but ordered the attack abruptly, hoping it would catch Tehran off guard. No, that's not why he did it, Wall Street Journal's Michael Gordon, Josh Dawsey, and Alexander Ward. Trump had to attack when he did because Iran was preparing to move the material out. Yep. So get your story straight. U.S. forces strike Iran's main nuclear site. This from South African media. Trump says key Iranian sites obliterated. Iran says it reserves all options in response to outrageous U.S. strikes. UN Chief Gutierrez says U.S. strike in Iran is a dangerous escalation. And Antonio Gutierrez, nobody cares what you have to say. You lead a fossil organization that accomplishes nothing. Trump's strike on Iran marks a momentous moment, according to CNN. Stephen Collinson actually writing all by himself. That's rare on CNN. And a gamble for the world. If Trump's gamble fails to destroy Iran's nuclear program, he could have set the United States and the world on a dangerous course. He had a huge wager on global security and his own legacy. He has no way of knowing how the consequences will play out after lining up the U.S. squarely behind Israel's attack on Iran. Well, should we just sit here and wait till suitcase bombs are delivered to Miami and to Atlanta? I don't think so. I don't think so. Trump says U.S. obliterates Iran's nuclear sites. This story from Reuters. Tehran reserves all options. Well, I don't know what options Iran has other than sleeper cells. Trump, in a televised address to U.S. people, called the strikes a spectacular military success. Israel's long said its aim was to destroy Iran's nuclear program, but the United States possesses the massive 30,000-pound bombs that were used, not Israel. Israel-Iran war live. Trump says key nuclear facilities obliterated. This, according to The Guardian. 8 new updates since I loaded that. Let's see what they say. While Hegseth and General King were speaking, U.S. Vice President Vance was talking to a broadcaster at NBC. Vance said the U.S. wants to pursue diplomatic process in Iran. He said the United States successfully set back Iran's nuclear weapons program, adding that President Trump now hopes to pursue a diplomatic solution. We do not want to protract this or build this out any more than it's already been built out. We want to end their nuclear program. We want to talk to the Iranians about a long-term settlement here. He told NBC that he did not believe the conflict with Iran would become a protracted war and said the U.S. has no interest in sending further troops to the Middle East. General Kane, Dan Kane, Raising Kane, U.S.'s most senior military official, praised the levels of secrecy and operational security. Kane said he was proud of the discipline of those involved. It comes after 3 months after claims that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth leaked details of a bombing operation on Yemen in group chats. Yep, there you go. So, yeah, remember that story? Non-story? Where's Russia going to get their drones? I don't know. South Africa? Honestly, I don't understand how there were people in this world who don't think Iran having a nuke is detrimental to all humanity. I don't know either, Feng Wan. It doesn't make any sense. Now the world can finally move on from talking about the Iranian nuclear threat. No, we can't mush. It's still there. We have to confirm it's actually gone. Sent a link on WhatsApp from DOD on the strike in Iran. There's a video where they explain. It's called Operation Midnight Hammer. Mad Max, what do you think this broadcast is about? Did you just tune in? Did you just tune in? That's why we got a live broadcast right now. Yeah, I covered that. That's what this broadcast is, man. Thank you. Yes, you just tuned in. You're late. No, don't apologize. Thanks for the link, but you're late. Look at the thumbnail. I mean, this is a briefing, guys. Chris is saying that my email, if he sees any post on a BackaBuddy or GoFundMe, Chris, without my approval. Yeah, exactly. This isn't a fundraiser for people. We just did that occasionally to help a few people out. It's not something we're doing on a regular basis. So if you want a fundraiser, draw attention on your own. People get turned off by that. We're not there. It's okay, Irene. You can go back and watch from the beginning. Offensive says, this is why I call the ANC a dictatorship. Why are news in South Africa frame this as U.S. bad? Terrorists not getting nuclear weapons is bad. Make sense. Exactly. Stupid YouTube doesn't send notifications when you go online. I'm going to fire YouTube programmers. Go back, unsubscribe, resubscribe, okay? And then check all alerts and see if that helps. Thank you, Mad Max. But last night you were here. Weren't you here last night? I said I was going to try to cover this press conference, and it was at 8 a.m. Mainstream media had these canned media releases prepared well in advance to criticize any operation irritating the president from central scripting. Exactly, Mike. Hey, how's it going, Mike, in Pennsylvania? 100%. Mothers love healing kisses. Is that where that came from? Okay. Probably going to get a lot of backlash from the know-it-all Democrats. Exactly. Mothers love healing kisses. It depends. Typing in capitals and crying when it gets deleted. A lot of other places like Facebook and WhatsApp attacking Chris Raleigh. Yep. Malema respond to EFF. Oh, he's on the EFF-X. Thank you. That's what I was asking. Is it on the EFF? So EFF. That's okay. That's what I asked earlier. Somebody finally told me that. Economic freedom fighters. I hate Twitter because if you misspell something or you get a name wrong, it does economic freedom fighters. There we go. Yeah, economic freedom fighters. All right. As the EFF, we declare that the year 25 is the year of picket lines. Okay. EFF addressing revolutionary song, funeral, wishes. There's no response here. There's nothing here, guys. This is at the funeral. It's all statements. They post one sentence, everything he says, like 100 times. I mean, that's not very effective. They really think people are going to read through. I mean, look, this is ridiculous. This is what the EFF does on their website. I mean, this is what they do on their Twitter page. I mean, look, it's just stupid. Who's sit here and read all this nonsense? Put the video up. Okay, there's EFF's page, right? Okay, and now watch this. Okay, there he's at the funeral. They've got photos, and there's okay. That's okay. But then look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. I mean, this is ridiculous. How many of these damn things in there? These are one sentences from something that Julius Malema had to say. I submit to you that there isn't 5 things that Julius Malema says that are worth putting back on social media, let alone putting 50 different posts from the same conversation. What a ridiculous bunch of nonsense. And it goes on for about 6 more. It was over 50 of them. What a stupid bunch of nonsense. Unbelievable. And they treat the people who died in a bus accident as if they're war heroes. It's ridiculous. It's not a real organization. It's a joke. A joke. A joke. Trump says U.S. strikes Iran were a success. What we know so far, according to The Guardian. Let's see what The Guardian's got to say here, folks. Donald Trump announced yesterday the U.S. successfully completed strikes on 3 nuclear sites. Iranian officials said there's no danger to residents living near the facilities. Yeah, because we didn't attack them. Yep, Iran must now make peace. Yep, so there you go. White House shows rare look inside the Situation Room. There's Trump sitting there. And here's another photo. And that's it. Rare photos indeed. Iran nuclear sites severely damaged, according to the British state broadcasting propaganda outlet, the British Broadcasting Corporation, which lies about interviewing refugees. Iran says no to nuclear talks during conflict. Now, this is from the 20th. See, this is why this and then moving the material is why the strike had to take place when it did. This is on the 20th. They refused to talk to us. Iran warns of consequences. Okay. U.S. strikes obliterate Iran's nuclear site, according to Trump. U.S. enters the Iran conflict. Tactical versus strategic, says Trump. Gambles on force over diplomacy. That's AFP again. And that's the stuff you guys sent me. There you go. So that's the update on that. It's okay being late, folks. It's better late than never. Be sure to hit the like button. Man, we still only got 942 likes. What's up with that? No, it's not a U.S. declaration of war. Okay, let me get back here. Good day. Love the rugby shirts. Thank you. Because I'm not a Sharks fan. I'm a Stormers fan, a Western Province fan. But I have Sharks jerseys. I'm just not wearing it today. This is from Old School. The guys make a bunch of rugby stuff. They were making Springbok stuff. Now they branched out. They're making everything. So Greta Thunberg is going to go to Iran. Good. Good morning. How are you, Van and Dutoy? Let Israel have a taste of devastation. But that was not in response to our strikes. That was just him saying that. You know, that's not the same thing. Yeah, Juju's not worth wasting breath on, but those are among my best performing videos. Can someone tell the Colonel that the video is on YouTube? What video? Julie Housey and Duplessis. Okay. Big banners being put up in Israel. Thank you, President Trump. Cool. What video were we talking about? How many leftists will escalate violence in support of the extremist terrorist regimes? No, I don't expect riots in the U.S. I do expect to see pro-Palestinian crowds go out and start their nonsense too. Yep. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the chat now. Something had to be done. Gaza has gone on forever, and now the others are circling like vultures joining the party. Had to be nipped. Has our one Gripen reached Iran yet? No, it hasn't. They had to land in Harare and turn back. Is the Colonel tired? Of course I'm tired, Days of Thunder. I work every day, 7 days a week, and I do my real life plus this stuff. It's very time-consuming. And I've got 3 more broadcasts today. In an hour and a half, we have a refugee couple on the program. It will be Ernst and Sonia, not their real names. They're going to talk about their experience, and this will be an interesting one because these are refugees who have arrived and been received, and now they're moving from one state to another because of a job opportunity, just like that. Barely here a month and already moving, showing you that this is a free country, that you're not constrained, you're not stuck. We've talked about this, their supposition about being a refugee. So the refugee, we'll do the news, and after the news, short break, and then it's Refugee Questions. It's Refugee Sunday. So 3 more broadcasts. That's at least 1 hour, hour and a half, 2.5 hours, 3.5, probably 4 more hours of broadcasting today. You think I'm tired now? Wait till later. Yep. Okay. What's the question James Bowie asked? Thinks not getting a visa is no big deal until you need to travel for the best medical treatment in the world. Yep. Like this new sneaker brand, loud endorsement, zero understanding of the product. That's well said, Marley Quinn. Yep. What did James Bowie ask? James Bowie must ask a question here. The newest is taken out. It's not there anymore. Okay. Sent me a link to his video. Okay. 6-minute time frame. Okay, you must be on another platform. You're telling me here to look. Okay. Okay, there it is. Okay. There's a 1 minute 25-second ad on here. I hope I can skip this.
Our Matthias has tried. It has not. The murderers of the past live with impunity. They write books, they receive Nobel Prizes, they appear on television, they are celebrated as statesmen, while the families of the murdered know no justice. We want the TRC recommendation implemented. We want those who committed crimes against humanity to face the full might of the law, and we will not rest until there is justice for our people. Fighters, we say today at the funeral of our young people that our struggle is global. The pain of our...
There's nothing there. You said it's at the 6-minute mark. That's now up to 7 minutes. There's no mention of anything.
Children is connected to the pain of children in Palestine, where bombs are dropped on homes, hospitals, and schools. The screams of mothers in Gaza echo the cries we hear here. We say to the Israeli apartheid regime, there were...
Okay, look how convinced the audience is. Look at that lady. Look how convinced she is. She's not convinced. Thank you for your membership, freak. She's not at all convinced here. Check it out.
The world is watching, and history will judge you harshly. The
No,
EFF
history
stands
won't judge
firmly
you.
with the people of Palestine, and will never be neutral in the face of genocide.
Really? Really? Never be neutral in the face of genocide while it happens around you? Yeah, this is just a dumbass. That guy's about as bright as a 2-watt light bulb. It looks like people are leaving now. It only happens when I'm watching streams that are about current events. Okay, what's that? Yeah, he is a crime against humanity. Juju reads nicely, yes. People are grieving for their children, and he's talking cock. Yep. ANC's funding is getting bombed out of existence. Yep. Okay, I don't know what's the cost of community and what's going on with you there, okay? Someone asked about whether I could be, why is kernel not spelled kernel? Because kernel, K-E-R-N-A-L, is a computer term. It's a word to describe the core software. And kernel is a French word to describe the rank. It's pronounced colonel, even though it's colonel. In French, it's colonel. Je suis le colonel Wyatt. Yeah, so that word came from the Normans not the Normans, from French, and the French influence, which later came from the Napoleonic era. So yeah, it's a French word. That's why. And colonel is the incorrect spelling of it. Yep. All right. In German, the term is Oberst. Oberst. They have colonels, they have lieutenant colonels, and then they have Oberst. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to hit the like button. We got over 1,000, thanks to the 8,000 plus people who tuned in for this and for the press conference. I'll be back in an hour and a half for an interview with refugees. All right, and an update on that. So please tune in for that. Please catch my other videos. For whatever reason, my videos are suffering badly this weekend. I don't know what's going on there. Wow, people are just not watching them. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos in the last 2-3 days. None has gone over 12,000 views. Previous one had 56,000 views, so that's interesting. And anyway, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they're just not that interesting. People wanted my video on the arrival of my plaque. I put a lot of effort into the video, recording it, trying to make it entertaining, edited, and only 2,000 people have watched it. Okay, that's a little disappointing. That's a little disappointing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this, folks. After all these people asked me to make the video, I did, and then they don't even watch it. Maybe it's the weekend. Maybe it's the weekend. Yep. I'm not difficult to find, Hendrik. You just save the bookmark or do a search at Colonel Chris Wyatt. Just go on YouTube all the time, type in at Colonel Chris Wyatt, and there you go. It's easy to find me. You know I do the news every day at 6 p.m. South African time. Thank you for those who watch all my videos. I appreciate it. But a lot of people aren't finding them. You're one of the 2,000. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you shortly for the refugee conversation.